In today's interconnected world, no country is truly self-sufficient. Every nation relies on others for goods, resources, and services that are essential to daily life and economic growth. Nations trade to get what they need and want, exchanging everything from raw materials to finished products, and forging relationships that span continents. For example, the US might export soybeans, advanced technology, and machinery to China, supporting American farmers and high-tech industries. In return, China sends electronics, clothing, and countless consumer goods back, filling American stores with affordable options. This constant exchange brings variety to our lives, lowers prices for consumers, and makes products from around the world accessible to everyone. It also allows countries to specialize in what they do best, focusing on their strengths and producing goods more efficiently. Trade shapes entire industries, creates millions of jobs, and supports communities that depend on exports for their livelihoods. It links billions of lives, connecting people across borders through the products they use every day. But this deep interconnectedness also brings vulnerability. When one link in the chain breaks, the effects can ripple across the globe. A single policy shift, natural disaster, or economic crisis can send shockwaves worldwide, disrupting markets and livelihoods. When disputes arise, countries often use trade as leverage, imposing tariffs or restrictions to gain an advantage or protect their industries. This can quickly turn cooperation into conflict, as negotiations stall and businesses face uncertainty. The result: disrupted supply chains, empty shelves, and economic pain for workers and consumers alike. Policymakers constantly strive for a delicate balance, ensuring imports offer choice and value, while exports help businesses grow and create jobs at home. The flow of goods in and out of a country shapes its economy, affecting everything from local businesses to global corporations. But sudden changes, like steep tariffs or new trade barriers, can disrupt this balance overnight. These shocks can upend global trade, trigger economic downturns, and leave businesses scrambling to adapt. The introduction of a 100% tariff is one such dramatic shock, instantly raising costs and blocking goods at borders. In a world so closely connected, a single policy like this has the power to reshape the entire economic landscape, affecting nations, businesses, and people everywhere. A tariff is a tax placed on imported goods, designed to make foreign products more expensive when they enter a country. Governments use tariffs as a tool to influence trade, shaping what people buy and sell across borders. When tariffs are imposed, the cost of imported goods rises, making them less attractive to local consumers. Everyday shoppers may notice higher prices on items ranging from electronics to groceries, sometimes forcing them to reconsider their purchases or switch to local alternatives. For example, if China adds a 25% tariff to American cars, the sticker price jumps significantly, making these vehicles much less affordable for Chinese buyers. This gives Chinese-made cars a clear competitive edge in their own market. Tariffs are often justified as a way to protect domestic industries from foreign competition, helping local businesses grow and safeguarding jobs. They also raise revenue for governments and can be used as powerful bargaining chips during international trade negotiations or disputes. But there's a downside. Tariffs can hurt exporters. When their goods become more expensive abroad, they often see sales drop, leading to lost income and even job cuts at home. When one country imposes tariffs, the other often retaliates, sparking a trade war that can escalate quickly and unpredictably. This tit-for-tat escalation can spread across industries, affecting not just the original products but a wide range of goods and services. Businesses face uncertainty, struggling to plan for the future, while consumers end up paying more for everyday essentials. For American car makers, a high Chinese tariff means lost sales, shrinking profits, and sometimes even layoffs or plant closures. Retaliation is common. If the US taxes Chinese electronics, China might respond by targeting American agricultural products. For instance, US soybean farmers may suddenly find their biggest overseas market drying up, threatening their livelihoods. Trade wars disrupt global commerce, causing delays, uncertainty, and higher costs for businesses and consumers around the world. The resulting economic instability can ripple through stock markets, factories, and entire communities, harming both sides of the dispute. The impact is felt everywhere, from farms and factories to the checkout counter, affecting jobs, prices, and economic growth. Tariffs, while simple in concept, are complex in their effects. Their consequences can be far-reaching and often unintended, shaping economies and lives in ways that are hard to predict. Imagine China slapping a 100% tariff on all US imports, doubling the price of every American product overnight. A $50 bottle of wine becomes $100. A $1 million machine now costs $2 million. This isn't just a policy tweak, it's an economic blockade, severing trade ties instantly. Importers would cancel orders, shipments would be stranded, and supply chains would collapse. The message: China is willing to decouple from US suppliers, risking a deep fracture in global trade. The goal? Maximum pain for US exporters, hoping to force a policy change in Washington. But China would also face risks. Its own industries could suffer, and prices could rise. A 100% tariff is a high-stakes move that could reshape the global economy. A 100% Chinese tariff would devastate key US sectors, especially agriculture. American soybeans, once a staple in China, would be priced out overnight. Farmers would face unsold crops and plummeting prices, threatening their livelihoods. Pork, corn, wheat, and fruit producers would lose their biggest market. Manufacturing would also suffer. Companies exporting vehicles, machinery, and tech would see orders vanish. The pain would ripple through supply chains, from truckers to port workers to financial firms. Entire communities built around exports would face economic crisis. The promise of the Chinese market would be replaced by closed doors and canceled contracts. The impact would be swift and severe, leaving a lasting scar on the US economy. For many, the loss would be irreparable. When China shuts out US goods, American companies and farmers lose billions in revenue. Businesses cut jobs, freeze hiring, and scale back operations. Local economies suffer. Job losses mean less spending, triggering a downward spiral in affected communities. Oversupply floods the US market, driving prices down and squeezing producers' profits. Farmers may sell crops for less than production costs, risking bankruptcy. Companies relying on global supply chains face higher costs and uncertainty. Tariffs disrupt planning, investment, and growth. Even big brands like Campbell's and Lululemon cite tariffs as reasons for weak sales. A 100% tariff would amplify these problems, slowing national economic growth. The fallout would be felt far beyond the farm and factory. When the US is locked out of China, other countries don't hesitate. They rush in to fill the gap left behind. The global marketplace is quick to adapt, and nations around the world see a rare opening to strengthen their own economic ties with China. As American goods face new barriers, competitors are eager to step up and meet China's massive demand. Brazil and Argentina, for example, rapidly ramp up their soybean exports, capturing the market share that US farmers once dominated. Their ports buzz with activity as shipments to China surge, and local economies benefit from this new wave of trade. Indian seafood exporters and Brazilian coffee producers also pivot quickly, signing major deals with Chinese buyers. These new agreements not only boost their own industries, but also deepen their economic partnerships with China for years to come. A 100% tariff on US goods would only accelerate this shift. As American products become too expensive, new suppliers from around the world become China's go-to partners, eager to fill the void. These new trade relationships are not easily reversed. Once lost, market share is incredibly tough to regain, especially as trust and reliability are built with new partners. China takes full advantage of this moment, diversifying its suppliers and reducing its reliance on the US. By building strategic ties with a wider range of countries, China strengthens its position in the global economy. Massive infrastructure investments and long-term contracts further cement these new partnerships. China's ports expand, and new trade routes are established, making these relationships even more durable. Even if tariffs are eventually lifted, US exporters may find it difficult to win back Chinese buyers who have already committed to new suppliers. The damage to American agriculture and industry could last for years. China's strategy is clear: insulate itself from US pressure, secure its supply chains, and ensure that no single country can disrupt its economic stability in the future. America's competitors, meanwhile, gain a rare and valuable chance to expand their global footprint, forging new alliances and growing their influence in the world's largest consumer market. In a twist of irony, the trade war ends up helping China achieve its long-term goals, reshaping global trade and strengthening its own economic power. For US farmers, a 100% Chinese tariff spells deep uncertainty and hardship. Generations of planning for the Chinese market are undone overnight. Government aid may offer short-term relief, but it's no substitute for open trade. Farmers want markets, not bailouts. They pressure leaders for a diplomatic solution. Many scramble to find new buyers or switch crops, but no market matches China's scale. New trade deals offer hope, but can't fully replace lost demand. The search for alternatives is slow and risky. Farmers' futures now hinge on high-stakes negotiations far from their fields. They hope for restored trade, but fear permanent loss to global competitors. The value of their harvest, and their way of life, hangs in the balance.